Neville would say that your reality is not fixed and neither is your specific person. They're showing up exactly how we are assuming to be. And when we look at our reality or when we look at our specific person, we don't want to think of them as a concrete, solid fact, because our reality is constantly changing by our own change in assumptions. And what you want to imagine them as differently, not as concrete, not as solid, but as clay. So Neville using the metaphor of your reality being like clay is not something new. Clay is moldable. Clay is changeable. Clay is something that the potter can absolutely turn into literally anything. That's your existence and that's your world. Your specific person is just a mound of clay, and if you want to see things change, we just have to become the potter. So this more naturally works when you're thinking of previous experiences, or you can look at other things happening in your reality, but most of the time our assumptions are stopped immediately in their tracks because of past events. We think because this happened, or because my specific person did this, or because this had occurred, that's why I can't create the outcome that we want. But we are looking at this clay, which is our external reality, how our specific person shows up or how they acted, and we're viewing it as solid, but nothing is solid. So what you want to do, not only in your world at this moment, as how you are imagining your specific person to be, but also in the past, you want to remold that clay into whatever it is that you want. And we know this as revision. When you are revising something, you're not just imagining it as being different. You're not just pretending as if it is different. When you change your mind and change your perception of something, it automatically and really changes outside of you. I have seen and encountered so many situations in my own life where I went back, imagined something different, and saw that difference take effect outside of me. As well as everyone I've ever coached use this idea, it can help you out and do wonders for you. Because we start to understand, oh yeah, we do have control of everything around us. It is just a reflection of us. So what I want you to do right now is imagine a scene that didn't go the way you want. Imagine maybe something from the past that you felt didn't work out the way that you desired it to be. Maybe it was a conversation that you had with your specific person, or maybe it was an event that occurred that was negative, or maybe you heard something about your specific person that you didn't like, or someone said something to you that you didn't like about your specific person. I want you to go back into your memory and then revise it, change it. You can even take out a piece of paper if you don't feel like you can visualize it and just start writing it down, going the way that you wanted it to go. So if you were the crafter and the potter of your reality, what would you turn this clay into? And yes, at first it might seem like we're pretending. At first it might seem like we're just acting or imagining something that isn't real. Because when we think about the word of imagination, in one moment, man will say imagination is totally not real. And at the same moment, we would say the man who uses his imagination or the woman that uses her imagination can create absolutely anything. So go back in time and pick whatever it is, whatever event, whatever outcome, whatever spoken phrase that upset you or pulled you out of the state. And you'll see as you begin to change this, you will retroactively change everything that has occurred. Think back to the other times in my videos in which I talk about time as not being a factor. So time and delay are not in our reality. Time and delay are within our mind. So the same thing is with past experiences. You think a past experience is permanent because it's already happened. But if you change that, you will see your specific person no longer actually even remember the event going the way that you originally thought it did. And as you take this clay and you mold it, everything in your world reflects that new assumption. Your specific person, everyone around you, everyone who you would say is in that previous event will actually begin to mirror your new understanding about it. As you start to view it in a positive light or change it in any way that you want, you will start to influence people, influence things to match that. I know our logical mind at first finds this a little difficult because it thinks, no, that happened and it can't be changed. Incorrect. Everything happening, everything that's happened and everything that's going to happen is just clay that we've molded into a particular scene or into a particular outcome. Because think about it. What you are remembering is happening is just a memory. And where does your memory actually lie? We would say our memories lie within our imagination. So now we are starting to see that literally everything happening, no matter how small or how large or how concrete we feel it to be, is totally under the influence of our imagination. And yes, at first, this will sound very crazy to think that people around you are still going to reflect that new belief, but that's why we need to move into it and change our emotional intensity towards it. So the more emotional intensity we have for an outcome, the more our mind is going to want to abide by that assumption. So if something negative happened in the past, the only reason we're keeping that idea alive or keeping that mindset or belief alive is because we have a high emotional intensity to it. So maybe in the past, your specific person said something you didn't like. It's actually the emotional intensity and the fact that we've molded something into clay that we don't like and we keep it up on the counter as to why it feels like we just can't escape it. And most of the time, when we have these previous events that kind of work their way into our minds, we try to deal with the symptoms. So we might have worried thoughts or anxiety or fears that pop up into our mind, but those are just symptoms of this belief that we're having. Don't charge or try to change the symptoms. Don't try to attack the symptoms. Look at the original belief, the original imagination, the original assumption, and once you change that, your thoughts and everything in alignment with it, your actions as well, will automatically change. As you assume a state, you're going to be acting that out. And the fact that action is always effortless and never straining in your reality is due to the fact that we're not trying to attack or change symptoms. We change the original belief. And remember, your imagination can be anything. When you have a ball of clay in front of you, you can make it into literally anything that you want. There is no limit to what you can create this clay to do. If we were to speak to Neville Goddard at this current moment, that's exactly what he would tell you to do. Your specific person isn't fixed. Your reality isn't fixed. The circumstances that you feel are outside of you are not fixed. Signs are always going to follow, they never precede. So the outcomes that we expect to see will occur after we rearrange the clay, not before it. Most of us have this clay figure of something we don't want on the windowsill or on the counter, and we think once my specific person shows up differently, or once I see this clay as differently, then I'll mold it differently. But no, that's not the case. And like I said, be prepared because this idea will alter your reality in ways that you may not totally understand or realize. So for example, and I told this story a long time back, but it's one of many stories, but I think it's really powerful because it just shows this idea of revision and how time isn't what we think it is, right? As you change your assumption, it retroactively changes in time. I had someone who their birthday had passed, and they were hoping to manifest to their specific person to text them on their birthday. And I said, well, why can't we do it now? And their first thought from their logical mind was, well, my birthday already passed. How could I change something that has already occurred? But I told them everything that we talked about in this video. And so they went into their imagination and imagined the happy birthday text. They imagined it with as much vivid reality and changed or revised other things that had happened previously that meant they had not received the text. And literally within 24 hours, so it was the next day after we met, they get this message on their phone. So they have an iPhone, and their specific person has an iPhone too, and they receive a green bubble that says happy birthday with a follow-up text that stated, oh my gosh, I can't believe this didn't send. I sent this on your birthday. It must not have gone through. I didn't have service at the time. And so then we know, so this sounds crazy and it sounds like it would just happen automatically because when we think of the bridge of events, it always shows up in a way that makes sense logically, or as if someone from the outside would say, well, that would happen anyway. But they received this message and technically then they altered their entire reality by shifting the clay. At first, they were assuming their specific person and everything around them would have shown their specific person forgot about their birthday. But as soon as they changed it, then it retroactively made made it make sense based on their logical mind and what would kind of make the most, or your subconscious mind always picks the path of least resistance. And so that was the path of least resistance. It also shows you how your subconscious mind goes above and beyond what you think is possible. So like how many of us would have predicted that outcome? I would say not many. Now we can get to a level of abundance in which we can predict that or kind of see it. But I would say you never have to worry about how, you never have to worry about when. As you change your assumptions of the past, you are going to see everyone else see it the way that you saw it within your imagination. And speaking of the way that Neville Goddard would manifest, I am doing a seminar this Monday, August 25th at 5 p.m. EST called Manifest Them Like Neville Goddard. So if you want to manifest your specific person just like Neville Goddard would, I would definitely check the link out in the description. If you did have any questions or any thoughts, or you had some past event that you need help revising, comment it down below and I would absolutely love to get back to you. Everyone can comment any thoughts, any questions, any beliefs. Remember, still we're in the challenge of 1,000 people getting to their specific person by the end of the month. And so that's still you. Also been loving all of the comments and all of the updates everyone's been having. So definitely keep it up. As always, if you do want to reach out to me but didn't want to do it publicly, make sure to head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com. And if you know for a fact that you are one of those 1,000 people that are with your specific person this month, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. But remember, your reality is clay, so mold it however you want.